Okay, so now that we've kind of talked about the overall training, I wanted to spend a little time with you on really how the program works and how it's broken down so that you can really maximize your time and your training and really come out of this thing with the well-balanced knowledge and competency we're looking for. So let's get started. So each one of these areas that's broken down into components is pretty simple: prep, dish, pizza. So you can kind of see here as you're working your way through the restaurant, you work your way down the line, out to the front of the line so that you really can utilize that Expo and KMOD experience to really make sure that you understand what right looks like and that we can get the right plate out to the guest every single time. That we move out into the front and we understand host and what the admin functions are in the restaurant, as well as server, bar, and spending some time in the management piece as well. So each one of these is formatted exactly the same. You'll get an overview and objectives. The overview and objectives will really tell you what you should be able to demonstrate by the end of that module. Daily lesson plans, materials and resources, videos, module questions, projects, quizzes, exams, and certifications. So each one of these modules is set up exactly the same. So once you get the hang of the very first one, you should be off and running. The time that you're going to spend in each one of the modules really varies based on your experience, but typically what we found is that you'll spend a day doing orientation, probably 4 days doing prep, maybe more. Dish maintenance is typically a day, and then 6 days in both saute and pizza. Another 5 to 9 days really managing the kitchen from the kitchen manager's perspective and running the expo, so really making sure that every plate that goes out to our guests is perfect. And then you move into the front of the house where you really go into our host positions and really learn the admin piece, and then server, bar. And then there's 2 weeks, as you can see here, for MOD. So one of those weeks may be in your training restaurant, and one of those weeks may be in your new restaurant. So that's something that we'll talk about in a bit. We will always reserve the right, depending on your experience and demonstration of competency, to either add more time or take time away to make sure that you are competent and you are comfortable with where you are in your training on any particular module. So as an example, many people have added an extra day or two to pizza just because of the amount of different pizzas we serve, and it's just a station that requires a lot of practice. So if you feel that you need to have an extra day or two in there, it's not a problem. Just make sure you meet with your training TLC GM and your RD, make sure everybody's in alignment as to what that looks like. Remember, it's not a race, it's a road to competency. The overview and objectives for each one of the sections will tell you exactly what you need to demonstrate at the end of your module. So let's take a look at the prep just to kind of demonstrate. So as you can see here, there's 12 different things that need to happen over the course of your 4 days in prep for you to really demonstrate competencies. Some of them are difficult, some of them are fairly easy. For instance, to know and identify all prep recipe specifications is probably something that's going to take you all 4 days. To understand the proper dating and rotation standards, depending on your experience, may be just a visit to the wall chart to tell you how long something's good for. So there's different levels of things that need to happen over the course of the 4 days. The key for you to understand is that this isn't just going in and putting mashed potatoes in a bag. You're physically and actively working on making sure that you can demonstrate that you're competent in all 12 of these different things. Then the program is set up so you'll have daily and weekly materials, resources, lesson plans, and all the videos will be located here on the university. You'll have module workbook questions, projects, quizzes, and the quizzes will follow each video. They'll usually be anywhere between 5 and 10 questions. A passing quiz and final exams will be essential to being certified, and those certifications will be sent to your training manager and regional director. Schedules. You want to make sure that you complete a schedule with your training manager. The expectation is that you'll be working approximately a 54-hour work week. Plan to please have a minimum of 2 hours of study time every single day, and then plan out additional time if needed to go on to the university. As you will find out, computer time in the restaurants is rather difficult, so we want to make sure that we can have a little bit of flexibility to allow you to watch the videos and be able to do the university the way it was intended. So in many of our TLCs, they'll have tablets that you can sit in the back and do university, or in some cases we may have to send you home to go on your computer at home where it's nice and quiet. So you just have to work that out with your TLC GM and RD and make sure everybody's in alignment as to how that looks. Alright, so I want to talk about really getting paid. And since you're really working hourly functions at the beginning of your training, but getting paid a yearly salary, we have to break that down. And since we also pay every single Friday, it's important that you understand is that you are responsible to send a timesheet in every single week to the payroll department. This should be done on the last day that you work. So if you're working Monday through Friday, you submit your timesheet on Friday, and it's pretty simple. You go to the UnoNet, and under Training, MIT Resources, there's an MIT timesheet. Fill it in. It should work up to about 54 hours a week, and make sure that you have your training manager show you how to do this, because there's nothing worse than having a paycheck that doesn't arrive or payroll looking for your hours during the course of each and every week. Then appraisals. Performance appraisals will be conducted throughout your training, and they'll be done in weeks 3, 5, 7, and then in week 9 what we'll do is we'll transition you to your new restaurant. Some key points. Each module in each section of training is set up exactly the same way. So if you really go after and master the first one in your prep, and you understand how to get the most out of it by looking at it as an entire module and understanding exactly what you need to get done, just apply that every single time all the way through, and you'll have a very good experience. Remember, your training is really about what you put into it. Not that the book isn't good, or not that the videos aren't good. It's just you have to make sure that you're getting the most out of your training, asking the questions, and making sure that you're really looking at what right looks like. And then you want to make sure that you plan out your day. Meet with your training manager at the beginning of your shift to discuss your plan and the needs for the day. And then, of course, meet with your training manager at the end of the day. Talk about what you saw, what you got done, and what you need to do the next day. Do your best to stay current. Don't fall behind. We'll be able to track your progress through university and help you if you need it. You'll have all kinds of resources. Please use them. And then last but not least, your certifications. Serve-Safe Food should be complete by the KMOD. So if you're already certified and you have a certification, just make sure you work with your TLC GM to make sure that that gets recorded. Secondly, Serve-Safe Alcohol needs to be complete by the end of service. And then if you have any local or state requirements, depending on where you are in the country, those should be complete certainly by the end of MOD. We wish you nothing but the best and success. Please don't hesitate to call with any kind of questions. You can reach me at 774-219-2251 or at the office line 617-218-5471. I look forward to seeing your progress, and I wish you nothing but the best.